Hello everybody, welcome to the August card class. Oh, I can hardly believe the summer is coming to a close, but we've got some beautiful projects here to work on, so let's get going. This is going to be our fun fold card for today, and we're featuring the Kintsugi Suite, although this pop-up card could be made with any sort of stamps, and it just pops up, and then you have the little vases and everything on the pop-up piece. So you could use it for flowers, for butterflies, anything you want. It's just a kind of a traditional pop-up card, but it looks really beautiful with this Kintsugi Suite, which is an art form where you use imperfections to make things beautiful. Especially with the gold. So the paper is really gorgeous with the gold metallic accents, and so that's what we're going to be using for our backgrounds today, and I'll show you a stepped up version a little bit later in the video. So the PDFs are already posted in the group. If you're not on the group, here are the measurements. Let me see if you can see them there, so you can grab a screenshot or jot those down for the measurements. And we've got a traditional hot dog style card for the outside part, and then the inside just has a simple pop-up panel. So it's a little bit smaller than the outside piece, and then it's folded in half, and then again they're about an inch apart, the other score lines. So we'll score all those lines. Already scored. If you have a kit, everything should be scored and ready to go, so you can pop that right up. Let's see if I got that the right side. I think I have it the opposite that it needs to go. Okay. Get that going there the right direction because it needs to pop up. All right. So kind of like a, there we go. Like a W or an M, however, whichever direction you're looking at. So in a little bit of an accordion fold there for that center section. And so the only really tricky part is gluing it down, but it's really simple if you figure out what you're doing here. So I'm going to grab my liquid glue here and put it on one side of that panel for the inside. And I'm just going to line it up so I have my traditional 1/8 inch on every side there, and then there's going to be a gap in the front where the pop-up goes. So you can kind of see how that's going to go. But the simple part is you can just do the same thing for the front side and just smoosh it down like that. And then you know your card is going to go flat in the envelope. And then when you pick it up and open it up, it'll have the pop-up. So you've got your little square version of the pop-up there. Nice and easy. So just gonna keep putting this card together. You can see my sample. I used the darker one, but I have used every little bit of my Kintsugi paper. So I'm on my last dregs of paper here. And I also brought in the In Color Designer Series paper, which has the beautiful cloud cover and Secret Sea panels. So I made some of the vases with that paper. So, and I've almost used up all of that paper too. I had just a tiny bit left. So this is a great time to stock up because in August, both of these papers are on sale. So yay. So I have some more coming. So hopefully I'll have enough for class tomorrow, and I'm sure we will have enough. So all right, so we've got all our Designer Series paper put on the outside, and we'll need a couple of panels for the inside too, because why not decorate the pop-ups? So I just have a few little scraps here left. Let's see, which sides do I want to use? I think I'll use that side and that side for my inside pieces. And this one's a little long, so I'm gonna trim it off because I'm really down to my last few scraps here. So do you ever use up a whole package of Designer Series paper? I guess if you're a demonstrator you do, but even it lasts a long time. So if I wasn't a demonstrator doing classes, I'd probably still have a bunch left. Okay, so just put on the 2 panels. If you have a kit, you have all the pieces you need, so you should be ready to go. And one of the pieces in the kintsugi paper has a whole bunch of the vases in the metallics on the paper, so you can die cut them with the dies. Oh, here's the stamp set, and the dies cut out all of the pieces there, so you're good to go. Really beautiful sentiments to send to somebody that's having a rough time, or just a thinking of you card. So let's see, what should we do next? I cut out a vase out of the designer series paper because it has that nice pattern. It's got florals on one side and then that nice speckled panel, and then leaves and kind of a subtle striped pattern on the other paper. So it's great for all sorts of projects. Now I discovered when usually I stamp first and then die cut, but just to make it easy, I'm stamping second. But if you put like a light color on top of a light color, it's kind of hard to see exactly where the edges of your photopolymer are. So I'm just grabbing something dark, a dark piece of cardstock, or in this case, I had my little silicone pad here. And then you can, when you're stamping, you can see exactly where the edges of the paper are, so it's a lot easier to stamp it straight. So yeah, I guess you can see that all right. So isn't that pretty with that designer series paper on the background? Just gives it that subtle color change, and then you don't have to color in the vase itself. It's already colored in. So I'll have our ink pad open. We'll do our sentiments. This is one of the dies from the set, so it kind of has a torn look to it. So we'll go ahead and do the sentiments too. So I know you'll get through this and be stronger for it. And then for the front will be, there is beauty in your history. So really pretty there. And of course, I'm gonna get my dimensionals out and pop everything up. All right, so we just need to put the vase and the sentiment on the top part. And now when I'm putting something against something that's already been popped up, I like to just leave it flat, and maybe even I'll just put a tiny bit of liquid glue. So I have dimensional on one side and a little bit of liquid glue on the other side, and that way my sentiment's not all wobbly because it's not the same dimension there. So there. So really very easy because the beauty is in the paper and in that stamp. So all I need to do now is add stuff to the inside. So we'll go ahead and put down, and I won't use any dimensionals on the inside because I don't want it to get too thick here for mailing purposes. And then we'll just add some of these vases here. And I guess the one that's going to go in the background can go ahead and put adhesive all the way because it's going to go like that. But the two that you're going to pop up, make sure that you only put adhesive on the very bottom part because you don't want it to, you want it to be able to pop up and open up when the card opens up. And then we'll grab one of these small ones that was die cut from that pretty metallic paper in the Kintsugi suite. So there you go, really easy. So you could do that with all sorts of different images or designs. So Kintsugi suite, the paper is on sale this month, and I wanted to show you my stepped up version. So the whole suite contains this really fun embossing folder called Join Together. So it has some of the designs from that designer paper you can see there, and then it has this big broken place in the middle that you can use as the joins. And I went and gold embossed that whole section. So how I did that was I grabbed my refill for my Versamark, and I just gently poured a tiny bit of the embossing fluid in there, and then the embossing powder, and then I heat embossed it just like I would a regular project. You could take, if you don't have the refill for your Versamark, you could like dab some of the Versamark on one of your blocks, and then pick it up with a brush or something and fill in that gap to gold emboss it. And also the stamp set has both a die here that will fit, and you can use the dies and metallic paper, so all sorts of options. And I did everything in gold. Instead of stamping in the Misty Moonlight, I stamped in embossed in gold, and I used gold for my my sentiments as well. So there's a stepped up version of that card, and I'll be back in just a minute with the next class card. Happy crafting!